my name is Lauren and I'm a speech language pathologist at ICAN. Today I'm going to be talking to you about selective mutism and how to interact with a child who has selective mutism to make it a successful interaction. So to start, what is selective mutism? Selective mutism is a childhood anxiety disorder that's characterized by a pervasive inability to speak in some social situations, often school, despite an ability to speak in other situations, like home. Selective mutism can have academic impacts and social impacts. Selective mutism is always lasts at least a month, so it's not just shyness. It's not a child who needs to warm up. Children with selective mutism typically do not just warm up after time. It's also not due to an inefficiency with language, so it's not because a bilingual child is learning a second language and has difficulty with that language. It's also not due to a different impairment, so selective mutism is not because of a communication impairment or an intellectual disability. Children who have selective mutism have often had not speaking reinforced for quite a while. So by that I mean that children with SM will be in a position where someone asks them a question, there's an expectation to speak, and they get nervous and so they don't answer at first. And then an adult jumps in and rescues them. So that might look like somebody asking a child their name, they're not answering, so the adult comes in and says, well, his name is Johnny. And this relieves the anxiety of both the adult and the child. They both feel better. But in the long run, that just reinforces to the child in a cycle that not talking makes me feel better. So that means the next time somebody asks them their name, they're even more likely to not talk. So what can you do to not get into that cycle and to have a great interaction with a child with SM? Well, if you're a new person or you're in a new environment with this child, then the first thing you want to do is just not have any expectations, just focus on having fun, building rapport, and boosting their self-confidence. So to do this, we talk about PRIDE skills. That's the acronym that we use to talk about how we want to communicate with a child with SM at first. So the P stands for praise. You want to praise any attempt at communication and you want to use specific praise. So you could say, I love how you used your brave voice to tell me that you want the color blue. That again just works on boosting their self-esteem. Next, the R in PRIDE, reflection. You want to reflect back what the child is doing. So something simple like, I see that you're nodding. Or if they ask a question, you can reflect it back in your answer. You ask me when we're leaving. We're leaving in 15 minutes. The I in PRIDE is for imitation. This is just really following the child's lead in play and imitating what they're doing. You grab blue blocks. I'm going to use blue too. Next, the D is description. So not asking questions, just describing what you're doing, what the child is doing. Oh, you're building a tower. Wow, there's a roof on the tower now. You just put a princess in the tower. Really cool. Just labeling what they're doing, talking about what you're doing too. And last, the E in PRIDE is enjoyment. So you want to just show that you're having fun with the child. Have high affect. Use words like, wow, and that's so cool. These skills will help make the child comfortable with you and not feel on the spot, pressured, or like they need to shut down. So this, there's no right answer for how long you want to be in kind of this interaction mind with the child. But as you see that they're getting more comfortable with you, you can start asking some questions. So there's 3 types of questions really. There's yes, no, there's forced choice, and there's open-ended. So yes, no questions are pretty self-explanatory. Forced choice is something like, do you want chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry? And then open-ended would be, what flavor do you want? Yes, no are the easiest questions because if a child has to, they can nod or shake their head instead. It's also just one word that they have to say to answer. Forced choice are a little bit harder, and a great tip to use is to always offer them or something else. So do you want vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, or something else? In case the choice that you gave isn't what they want, and it also provides another language opportunity. And then open-ended are of course the hardest because they have to come up with their own phrase and say that. So you could try first using some yes-no questions, see how that goes, and keep using those PRIDE skills, praising when they respond to you. The important thing throughout all of this though is that you don't want to try to mind read or use sarcasm, anything that could bring them down. Mind reading being, well, I know that you want chocolate. You don't know that actually, and that doesn't help their self-esteem or make them comfortable with you. So again, interacting with a child with selective mutism is just about building their comfort around you. Use those PRIDE skills, don't focus on asking them to talk at first, and then slowly build in some questions and see how it goes. And lastly, if you suspect that your child has selective mutism, reach out to a psychologist and a speech language pathologist to get some information about that. Thanks for listening. Bye.